Hello everyone! So today I want to make a video that is continuing on with the series of videos about the books that I've read this summer, all of which I'll link down below. And just to recap, all of the books that I read were books focusing around queer characters written by queer authors. So this is the last of the themed videos that I'm going to be doing. And then I think the very last one will be discussing my favorites and my least favorites of the bunch that I read. But the theme that I noticed in this one has a large chunk of books with like very small noticings of said theme, which is religion, and the way that religion played into how an author told a character's story, or how a character came to terms, or the rate at which they became accepting of their own sexuality. So we're going to go in chronological order here, and a lot of these are just going to be pretty short mentionings of the books, because a lot of these are just about a character who has a very strong sense of religion and is very connected to religion and things like that. So the first one is The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall. I've discussed this in another one of these videos. Radcliffe Hall was raised in a religious household, and religion is kind of something that is in this book until the very end, and plays a pretty decent role in how she thinks about herself. The next book is Angels in America, a Gay Fantasia by Tony Kushner, which I've also mentioned in another one of these videos. This book includes 3 characters who are Mormon, and or 3 or 4. A number of characters who are Mormon, and kind of the relationship between that religion and sexuality. Yeah. We then have First Spring Grass Fire by Ray Spoon, which again I have also mentioned in another one of these videos. And this acts kind of like a memoir or fictional retelling of Ray Spoon's life, who grew up in a pretty religious household. Their father was very strongly rooted in the church. We then have She of the Mountains by Vivek Shraya, and this one is a little bit different because it never discusses, at least from what I remember reading, the main character and his own religion and different things, but this book is split into parts, and so one storyline that is going on is about our main character, who is discovering his sexuality and his queerness in Canada, from his youth into his young adulthood. And then another storyline that is going on follows the Hindu gods, Parvati and Ganesh and Shiva, and kind of has a story about them as well, and it was really interesting to read both of these intertwining, though never really fully connected, storylines. We then have Lies We Tell Ourselves by Robin Talley. This is about 2 girls growing up in the 60s, in 1959 and into the 60s, who are both going to the first high school in Virginia. Yeah, the first high school in Virginia that is being integrated, and so it follows a black girl and a white girl, and both of whom have very strong connections to religion, and both of whom mention scripture a couple of times in the book, and that kind of plays a role in both of their journeys with the battle for integration and desegregation in Virginia, and also their own sexuality and their relationship with one another. The next book is The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. This follows two main characters, one of whom is on a circus boat and is a bear trainer and does circus acts with her bear. The other of whom is a kind of a figure who performs burial rites of sorts. But both of these characters are living in a world that is mostly overtaken by water, and there's not a lot of land. And so the way that religion kind of plays into this is that there are brief mentionings of revivalist boats, I believe, that kind of visit the different marks of land and preach and different things, but also talks about the different religions and beliefs between people who live on land and people who live on water. Very interesting. The last one I want to mention is Sphinx by Anne Garretta. This book follows our main character, who is a theology student in France, and their relationship with a exotic dancer. And the big thing with this book is that there are no gender, there's no pronouns that are used to define the gender of the main character and the love interest. And so the way religion is mostly seen as this academic thing to be studied, so theology is the big thing that's discussed in here with that. So that was more of a list or a rundown of the books that I read and like where religion comes into play with the characters. A lot of the times the plot in regards to religion is about a character trying to mediate their religious feelings and their sexuality, and at times ignoring or praying their sexuality away, and also moments where they are finding ways that their religion and their sexuality can go hand in hand. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments or would like to discuss any of the things that I mentioned, feel free to do so in the comment section below, and I'll see you in another video.